Our brain rewards procrastination. Our mind is remarkable at coming up with excuses that sound like valid reasons for not doing something, simply to keep us in the lazy state. It's so effective that the excuses sound totally reasonable and are always accepted by our minds without any second thoughts. You put off exercise and you lead badly as you're gonna start that diet tomorrow onwards. We all have faced this issue. My name is Prithviraj, and first let's try to understand why do we exactly procrastinate and also what exactly can we do to fix this problem. I will be sharing 5 key points that will help us prevent procrastination plus one bonus in the end, so stick around. The science behind why we actually procrastinate. Procrastination occurs when two different parts of our brain go to war with each other. The limbic system is the emotional and the instinctive part of our brain, including the pleasure center. You can call this our dinosaur brain. It's the most ancient part of our thinking process. Over there is a small walnut-sized area called the amygdala, which scans for danger and triggers our fight to flight freeze response. For example, if you spot a tiger, the amygdala will instantly override everything else your brain was doing, so that you immediately start running for your life or use a weapon or simply do whatever you can to stay alive and survive. The prefrontal vortex is the most recent and the most logical executive section of the brain. It's in charge of planning, decision making, and our social behaviors. It wants to do unpleasant things to further the long-term goals. If you live in a place where tigers might attack, this is that part of the brain that will urge you to design strong fences to keep you safe. When we are faced with the stress of a task that makes us feel anxious and insecure, the amygdala still perceives this as an existential threat and swings into action. It simply can't tell the difference between a tiger attack and a work deadline. Our dinosaur brain is concerned with the present time, and its purpose is to get you back to comfort and safety. It doesn't bother about your long-term goals and plans and deadlines. Its only job is to making sure you have a future by keeping yourself out of danger and alive. Scientists call this amygdala hijack, an instinctive response that overrides the more rational parts of our mind, yet somehow we spend it watching cat videos. I wanna give a big shout out to Sheryl Garratt. I was able to find out about the scientific research on procrastination from her article on medium.com. I'll leave the link of her full article in the description box below the like button. Do give that a read. It's really interesting and insightful, to be honest. Here are 7 reasons why we procrastinate. Do let me know in the comments which of these issues you face the most. Fear of failure. Sometimes we procrastinate because we're afraid that we won't succeed. Hence, we simply delay starting a task in order to avoid a potential failure. In short, we have given up even before starting. And we comfort ourselves by saying we saved ourselves from getting embarrassed. Perfectionism. Wanting things to be perfect can lead to procrastination. If we feel we can do a task perfectly, we might simply delay it rather risk doing it imperfectly. For example, if you wanted to start creating YouTube videos, but you're delaying that because you don't have the best camera. We wait for everything to be perfect in order to get started, but we often forget that everything can never be perfect. Nothing is perfect in this world, so we should acknowledge that. Lack of motivation. If a task isn't personally meaningful or it doesn't offer us immediate rewards, it can be really hard to find motivation in this case. Like, for example, you somehow managed to upload your first YouTube video, but it only got 20 views. It's really easy to lose hope and quit doing it. Poor time management. Not having a clear plan or schedule can make it really easy for us to schedule our tasks for later, especially if they seem overwhelming or if there is no deadline. In simple words, we don't realize our priority in the middle of the day. Distractions. In today's digital age, distractions are everywhere. It's really easy to get sidetracked by social media and other forms of entertainment instead of actually focusing on the task at hand. While working, suddenly our phone chimes and hocus pocus, we lost our focus. Friction. Sometimes the environment goes against us. In short, there are too many steps involved to get started. As physics calls it friction, an object at rest will always try to remain at rest. Decision fatigue. Sometimes the sheer number of decisions we have to make in a day can turn out to be really overwhelming, leading us to put off making important decisions and starting tasks. This one really affected me, to be honest. I used to stick to my diet the entire day, but in the evening, I used to end up ordering McDonald's to reward myself for the fantastic work I have done the entire day. Did you find any of the mentioned points to be somewhat relatable? If you did, then I'd really appreciate if you could hit that subscribe button, and I promise to keep creating such helpful videos on productivity, tech, and life. So, what is the solution? How do we address all these factors? The 5-minute rule. If you wanted to learn how to play the guitar or simply learn a new language, don't try to block out an entire hour for that. Simply set a goal for doing that task just for 5 minutes. 5 minutes is all that I ask for. Doing something for just 5 minutes is good enough progress. Trust me on this one. And I'm gonna be totally straightforward in this this aspect. If you fail to spare just 5 minutes for doing a task, you are simply stupid. If you can't commit to just 5 minutes, it simply means it's not your priority. Your intentions are to be blamed over here. Simply forget about that goal if you can't do it just for bare 5 minutes. Simply set a 5-minute timer and start doing the task. You will often end up working for more than 5 minutes by this process. It's really easy to continue working. Starting to work is the hardest part. However, not every day is the same. Some days you just won't feel like doing it. In that case, you can simply stop after 5 minutes. This way, the 5-minute rule will have its value and you won't feel like you deceived your own self by forcing yourself to go for more than 5 minutes. 5 minutes is all you need. That is good enough. Break your task into smaller steps. Simply divide your task into smaller and more manageable chunks to make them less daunting. Let me give you an idea by sharing my own example. If I want to create an YouTube video, I just won't write create a video on my to-do list. I will break them down into multiple steps. The first step for me is going to be the research phase, thinking of a topic to produce a video on and note everything down regarding that. After I have all my talking points ready, then I will proceed to create the script of my video. After that comes the filming part, recording the videos and the audio. Only then we can proceed for the post-production part, which is editing the video and working on the sound. What I basically do is manage every step as a separate task on my to-do list. I previously created a video on my simple productivity system. We'll leave a link to that in the description in case you're interested. But what I'm basically suggesting is that you should break down your task into multiple steps simply so that it becomes easier to get them done quickly. It's a continuous process and not a one-time thing. However, you should keep this in mind. By dividing your task, I don't mean you have to break them down into thousands of steps. That will simply give you anxiety looking at your task list. Break them down into small yet manageable steps. Don't ignore the word manageable. Planning. Set clear goals. We need to manage our time properly. Try planning for your day beforehand. Take a piece of paper and write down what the most important task for that specific day is. It's really important to prioritize our tasks. Try investing in a physical planner if required. I recently invested in one and it totally changed my life. Simply time block your tasks, as in at what time you'll be doing what. Think of this like a budget for your time. For example, you want to have your breakfast at 8 a.m. and then start working at 9 a.m. Take a walk at 10 a.m. and then again get back to work by 11 a.m. If you pre-plan your day, you will exactly know what you have to get done. This will also help you in curing the decision fatigue in the middle of the day. It's very important to keep time for everything. For example, you love playing games. Schedule time for that as well. Don't leave anything out. If you keep time for everything, you will be able to sustain this schedule in the long run. Also, deadlines. Set realistic yet tight deadlines so that you can mentally force yourself to get a task done fast. For example, if you had to finish a task by suppose Sunday, set yourself a tighter deadline. For example, you should try to get it done by Wednesday. No issues if you can, but at least try to. If your task doesn't have a deadline, no issues as well. You can simply set an imaginary deadline in order to get it done. Rewards. Try becoming a credit card agent for yourself and try incorporating a reward system for yourself and your life, of course. In my weird productivity tips video, I shared the idea of keeping a rewards jar. Write down few of your guilty pleasures on separate pieces of paper, fold them into chits and put them in a jar and shake them up. Whenever you finish a long stressful task, simply take something out from the rewards jar and see what you came up with. For example, while scripting this video, I got this as a reward. I can play one race session of F123 and feel like Max Verstappen, but I eventually crashed and I thought I was better off scripting this video. Similarly, you can keep different things in your rewards jar. For example, if you finish your most important task, you can watch an episode of your favorite Netflix show, or maybe you can call your partner for a quick chat, or whatever guilty pleasures you might be having. Taking breaks is really important. Here's the bonus tip before we talk about the final point. Try getting an accountability partner. You might have heard that it's easier to go to the gym when you have a partner to go along with. Similarly, you can try this to your other task as well. Simply ask your parents, your partner, or your roommate to hold you accountable. Simply tell them you'll be paying them $100 if you failed at completing your task by a specific day. Because of this reward factor, the person you made this commitment to will run after your life. They will keep taunting you. Thereby, it will be really important for you to get that task done on time, of course. You can also keep yourself accountable even if you stay alone. I live alone myself. Get some sticky notes and simply stick them everywhere. Literally everywhere. That way, you're gonna get greeted with that task wherever you go. Finally, we need to reduce friction and actively remove all the distractions. The friction needs to be reduced in order to make things easier for us to achieve them and not get distracted in the same time. If you want to work out tomorrow, keep your gym bag ready and in front of you, and also go to bed wearing your gym clothes. This way, we don't have to go through multiple steps in order to get our asses into the gym. I need that for myself. Similarly, if you wanted to play the guitar, keep it lying in front of you in the middle of your living room. We have to train our mind to make that our go-to solution. This is the reason I keep my treadmill open and also keep my shoes on top of it, and also my iPad over there, so that I can simply wear my shoes, play something on Netflix on my iPad, and start to run on my treadmill. We have to make sure that the task we want to get done is easy to access and right in front of us. It's also very important to address the distractions of our daily life. As you might have expected, the biggest culprit is our phones. Click here to check out why we are always distracted and what we can do to fix them.